For more on the Lions, happy to have Kory Woods, beat writer for MLive, with us again here on SFE. So I open up MLive and I see this headline from you. The Lions are right where they want to be heading into the bye. Why?
I just think right now, with the way that things went with them, you have two new coordinators. You have these injured pieces on defense, and you got some coming back, and you're still able to be 5-2 when you're still not playing your best football. I think that's the best place for them to be. Dan Campbell said that when he dismissed his coordinators for the bye week, that he charged them with some homework. And Campbell himself said that he was going to be sitting back and going over some things. During that time, I expect that he's probably going to be looking over the offense, finding out ways to get Jameson Williams more involved, as well as get David Montgomery more in touch, is something he said a couple of weeks ago. And just to be able to have everything not going so great, but you're still in a prime position to have a special season, I mean, what more could you ask for?
Well, you have to ask a lot of guys to step up on defense. Some names on the roster I don't know that we all thought we would see in week one. Guys like Nick Whiteside, Eric Hallett, Arthur Mallett, Thomas Harper, Rock Yassin, Amik Robertson, we've known to step up and make big plays when he needs to. But if you didn't know them before, you ought to now. I saw the nickname floating around, Legion of Whom. What do you think of that, and how are those guys reacting to it?
I have not heard how the guys are reacting to that nickname since what happened. I believe that kind of came out right around when they're about to play. So I don't know what the reaction is. Probably we'll find out when we speak to them this week. But just how, I'm impressed by it, to be quite honest. Just, the fact that you're able to pull so many of those guys up from the practice squad off the street and have them come in and play big minutes against a team that was going into that game the NFC's best. You had a Baker Mayfield that was on an MVP arc going into that game. So that just says what type of coordinator that Kelvin Shepard is. He's said that each week that he's been making adjustments and he's been charging his coaches with a lot of work, and they've responded. So, I mean, what more can you really say other than that? Dan Campbell has done an excellent job with who he decides to promote and bring in as far as his coaches. And that next man up mentality, it's not just coach speak. It's really what you see. I mean, Whiteside, I believe he was tied with Jack Campbell for the most tackles on the team. He was making plays. Mahler was making plays. I mean, you had a lot of guys step up in really big primetime moments, and it just says a testament to the coaching and the trust that everybody has in that building.
Yeah, Dan Campbell said in 21, we are never going to have a season where we are not prepared ever again. And the preparation defensively, I'm glad you brought up Kelvin Shepard. Players were calling him a GOAT. It is one thing to put up the performances that this defense has, but when we're talking about a coordinator and the job that he is doing, why is he generating the buzz and the specific praise that he is getting from these guys?
I just think here's one thing about Kelvin Shepard. I think it was the right move for Dan to promote him. I mean, you kept the continuity in that building. He was on part of that initial coaching staff, so it was a natural transition to promote him to DC. He's relatively young, 37 years old. All the players confide in him, because they consider him like a brother. And just to his coaching acumen, I mean, the guy makes changes from week to week, and I mean, when you just look at this defense and the way that they're responding, it's because of they're like an extension of him, his intensity, his passion, and it's just showing up on the field. So hopefully that answered your question. But I just think right now with just the reason that Shepard's becoming such a hot commodity is that of the concerns with the coordinator turnover. One thing that people did have concerns about was the defense and how it was going to look, and if Shepard was going to be ready, because he is so young. And Shep said this around the NFL Combine. He said he's been playing football basically all of his life. So while people are saying that, he's a young coach, he's been around the game since he was a youth. Even when they were going up against the Baltimore Ravens, going into that game, he said, "Hey, I've been calling defenses for the past 2 years in my head. Y'all just didn't know about it." So right now, I think we're just seeing the coming out party from Shep, just off of the way that he's been able to disguise these packages and be able to trick the QBs into thinking it's one coverage when they actually flip it to another coverage after the snap. And I mean, what can you say about the guy? He has this defense rolling. They're responding to him, and I just expect him to get better.
Well, something we have seen the entire team react to, especially defensively, is what happened with Brian Branch. And part of me hates to go back to this, but you used that word brother. And I think the best teams, they are a brotherhood. So when you see how these guys have reacted to everything that went down in Kansas City, what does that tell you about the makeup of this team and the way they are around each other?
It really is a brotherhood type environment. I can't speak for other locker rooms, but I know that when we go inside that practice facility every day at Allen Park, it's not just, position groups clicked out. There are guys all around that locker room, laughing, joking, hanging out with each other, spending time with each other. And I mean, just one thing that kind of stuck out to me because you brought up Branch. I asked Dan Skipper about his comments when that turning point video came up. Skipper was he didn't want to get fined. He already thought he may have had a letter waiting for him. And he didn't really want to go too deep into his comments. But then after I was done talking to him, he brought me back over and just really wanted to reiterate, like, people don't know what type of guy Brian Branch is. And they thought that was really unfair of him to be characterized like that. And Dan Campbell said it best. I mean, when you go after one of their guys, they're going to respond the way that they did. And again, it just starts from the top. This new regime has built a culture where guys like to play here. They like being around each other, and they just have the right mix of coaches and players in that locker room where it's a real family environment, and they're really protective of each other. And when you saw how the league took action against Branch, and then you saw that subsequent NFL Films video, they responded as such because you're coming at one of their own. So, I mean, it's just, again, it just starts from the top with the culture they built in there.
Well, if you like playing here, you better like playing in tough games. They've played in a handful, and it's not going to get much easier. Second hardest schedule entering the year. I believe it's the 8th highest strength of schedule the rest of the way. What is their success going forward going to hinge on?
Health. Just health on that, getting those healthy pieces back on defense, getting a healthy Terrion Arnold, a healthy DJ Reed, a healthy Marcus Davenport. If you're able to get, and also let's not forget that secondary. I mean, those are two guys in the safeties, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, making sure they're healthy, because even though he had the suspension, Brian Branch had some things pop up as well. So if that defense can stay healthy, and you keep Jared Goff upright, because, over the past couple of weeks, pass protection has looked a little bit shaky. Goff has been taking some hits. It's just health, because on both sides of the ball, this is a complete football team. This is a team that has the chance to do something special. But if they can just keep upright and be relatively healthy, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, look, last year they had as many as 16 players from one side of the ball of the defense on IR, and they still managed to go 15-2. So I just don't see them regressing if they're at full health. They gotta figure out that offense, because the third down situations haven't been that great. And at some points after you get the scripted drive in, they get a little bit into the lulls. But other than that, it's just health. From
your lips to the football god's ears, stay healthy and stay good. Everything Kory Woods writes is good. Follow him on social media and read him on MLive. Kory, always good to talk to you here on SFE. Thanks for your time.
Likewise, man.